Imagine you're sitting in an English class and your professor gives you a creative writing assignment, which may seem scary at first, but is not as hard as it may seem. In my audience analysis, I found that many of you are familiar with the concept of creative writing, and in those who are familiar with creative writing, only some of you were either confident or unconfident and unsure in your abilities. I have spent 13 years of my life reading and writing due to the influence of my mother, and now I'm passing her teachings on to you. Before we get into the tips and tricks of creative writing, let's discuss what creative writing is. Oxford defines creative writing as the process of crafting original and imaginative works of literature. Bella Rose Pope and authors list off works such as novels, play scripts, and song lyrics as examples of what creative writing may be. Oxford also states that creative writing can help foster creativity, enhance your empathy, and improve your communication skills. Now that we've discussed what creative writing is, let's get into some tips and tricks on how to build a world for your creative writing story. First things first, you're going to want to plan out your story. After all, it's kind of hard to get into the major details without a script or an outline of what you want to do. An author named Jerry Jenkins states that it's important to take into account your world. It's important to take into account your world's geography, resources, and climate, as all of those are very important for what your story is about and how you can foster and build what you want to do. He also states that forming a culture, establishing a population, and building a history for your world are also very important, and as it helps bring your creations to life. Take this world for example. There's lush fields of green all over the place, and there are mountains in the background. You could say that this world is filled with fairies, dwarves, and humans alike, but it fosters a world history that it's dark, as it's been littered in famine and war throughout its history. This is just an example of what your world could be. Now that we've gone into the tips and tricks on how to build your world, let's start with building a main character for your story. And using this guy as an example, we can start off with building your character archetype. In this case, you could say that this guy is the jester. For traits of this character, you could say that he's witty or sarcastic. When creating your character, it's also important to give them a history and a arc that they surpass that makes them grow as a character, or perhaps not at all. For instance, the history of this guy could be that he's from a lost village, and his arc could be that he grows and establishes a new village and is able to push past the trauma that he faces in his early childhood. Now that we've discussed how to build your world and how to build a character, now let's discuss some tips and tricks on how to keep creative writing in your brain and how to not forget what you've learned. It's important what you'll need to start practicing is a pen, pencil, or a pen, pencil, perhaps even a Chromebook or a laptop, whatever you like to write with, and make sure you get into a nice calm area, and you can either write whatever comes to mind, or you can look up prompts online that'll give you stories to write about, or general ideas of what you can write about, either for your characters or for your story as a whole. Dedicating 30 minutes to an hour is very important as well, as it can help you generate ideas in your mind and keep that writing fresh in your mind. Today I've taught you how to, in conclusion, I've taught you how to create stories, and I've taught you how to build characters, worlds, and practice your skills. Now, your next creative writing assignment won't be too difficult after all. Thank you.